So the entire purpose of a base layer is to manage moisture. Base layers will not keep you warm. So what do they do? What's their purpose and how should you pick them? Let's cover that in this video. So we're a couple miles into a cross-country ski trip. When we left the vehicle about an hour ago, it was about 30 degrees out here. And this is exactly what I've been wearing as we came in. I've got an insulative layer over the top of a base layer. So let me pull off this insulative layer and let's talk about what I am wearing and what it should be doing for you as you're moving through the backcountry. So the entire purpose of a base layer is to manage moisture. Wet skin is cold skin. You want to keep your skin as dry as possible. So the purpose of a base layer is to pull moisture off of your skin and move it away from your body. So this piece that I'm wearing right now is a 4-ounce base layer. Some others that I have in my bag are like 6 ounces or 7 ounces, but they're super, super light. So why do people think that these are going to keep them warm? I think a ton of people have this wrong. I know I definitely did growing up. You see, I often wore cotton thermals. You heard that right, cotton thermals. You're probably saying, what's the big deal about that? Well, cotton, when it gets wet, is freezing cold and it does not dry out, which means it's doing the exact opposite of what a base layer should. So my whole growing up experience was wearing these cotton layers. You might believe the same thing because I see so many people doing it. They'd wear these cotton layers, they look warm, they're like cozy pajamas, but really they were keeping you ice cold because once you'd sweat or get moist at all, they'd hold on to that moisture, they'd keep it next to your skin and freeze you to death out there in the wilderness. So the next question you probably have is, what fabric should you be using? Should I be using synthetics or should I be using wool? Well, let's start with the synthetic side. You've got nylon and you've got polyester. Polyester is typically known to dry faster, so it typically works better as a base layer. This piece right here is a polyester, which allows it to get moist as I'm skiing in here and then quickly dry the second that I'm taking those layers back off or stopping. All right, so let's switch gears and talk about wool. That's probably the most common base layer that you've heard about. This is a super lightweight wool piece that also works phenomenally as a base layer. Wool will pull moisture off your skin because it is hydrophilic, meaning it pulls moisture and even vapor off your skin, but it will stay warm, unlike cotton when it is wet. And then a lighter weight piece like this is going to dry very fast. So those are the two main options that I'm going to recommend as far as fabrics. But what about the weight of them? What kind of pieces are you really looking for? I personally like a very lightweight fabric level, meaning I don't want something big and heavy because once it gets wet, it's gonna be harder to dry. And the whole purpose of this is to get wet and dry, get wet and dry and manage that moisture. So I like really lightweight pieces. This piece right here is, I wanna say, about 5 to 6 ounces. The other polyester piece was in that 4-ounce range. So incredibly light, are gonna dry incredibly fast. The other thing that you wanna note is you can see these are tighter fitting pieces. You want them to be nice and snug against your body to help pull that moisture off. A big baggy piece is not gonna do what it needs to help manage that moisture. All right, so let's talk about a bonus material, and that is Dragonwool. Dragonwool actually has merino wool on the inside with a polyester jersey face on the outside. Wool pulls moisture, vapor or full liquid form off of your skin and pulls it into it. It's gonna keep you nice and warm, but then it doesn't dry as fast as a polyester. That's one of the pros and cons you weigh with wool versus polyester. But in this piece, you get the best of both worlds because the wool will pull the moisture off your skin and then move directly into this jersey face and start evaporating. It dries 4 times faster than your typical merino wool. So it's incredible for that 3 and 4 season use, especially in some of this higher activity level stuff. All right, so we threw a lot of information at you. Let's now get into the specifics of how you can choose the best base layer for you. Polyester versus wool. What do I look for in choosing that element? If I'm gonna be doing a lot of activity, means sweating a lot, I will go with the polyester because it's going to dry faster. I'm typically not as worried about being warm because if I'm sweating and doing high activity, I'm gonna be pretty hot. If I'm doing a little more mild stuff like this cross-country skiing that we're doing, a little more mild, I'm not gonna sweat as much, I really prefer wool. It's so comfortable against skin, it manages moisture really well, and I'm not gonna overwhelm it with moisture either. And then Dragonwool, I feel like fits right in the middle, where especially in that 3 and 4 season scenarios, it works phenomenally to manage moisture and have that super nice, comfortable, warm feeling next to your skin. While still getting that moisture away from you and dried out. Whether you choose polyester, wool, or the hybrid Dragonwool piece is really gonna be up to you and your specific trip. But hopefully this video helped you out. And if you wanna learn more about some insulation pieces, click the video here where we dive into helping you choose the best insulation pieces or jackets out on the trail. Thanks for joining us. Get out there on the trail and keep living ultralight.